I'm going to turn it over to Brittany from the City of Orlando to talk through their experience with running an efficiency competition.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much, Lena, and thanks for everyone for joining the call today. I'm excited to talk with you all about our Battle of the Buildings that the City of Orlando has co-hosted in partnership with EPA here in Central Florida. First, I'll be discussing some of the stakeholders and sponsors who make the competition possible, talk a little bit about how we've advertised the competition and gained participation across various building sectors. I'm going to highlight some of the innovative approaches we've taken towards providing education and assistance for our participants, and then finally discuss some of our next steps for future competitions. And you'll notice that all throughout the competition, I'll also be touching on some of the key roles that EPA has provided in terms of sharing framework, resources, and assistance in making our competition a success. But first, I will start off by covering some of our basics. All right, so the first question is, what is it? What is our Central Florida Battle of the Buildings? Ours, like some of the others that have been discussed, is a voluntary challenge program. Ours covers 7 counties, and it's designed to encourage commercial building owners and managers to benchmark their property in Energy Star Portfolio Manager, and then use this information to drive reductions in their energy, water, and waste as an optional category uses. This challenge was built upon the foundation of a prior competition called the Kilowatt Crackdown that we ran in the region from 2009 to 2011, as well as the Central Florida Work Pace Challenge from 2015. Both of these programs encourage similar conservation and efficiency efforts across our local community building, and we kind of pulled some of the best of components to put forth with this current Battle of the Buildings. For this new competition, one of the other differences is we partnered and co-branded with EPA and designed a 6-month-long competition that began last June with the registration deadline in July and then ran through December. So it's a 6-month competition in total, and the performance during that time period is compared in relation to the building's previous 12-month baseline period. So how they perform from the summer to the fall is compared to their prior year's performance. And from their top performance will be recognized at an awards banquet, which we're co-hosting in partnership with USGBC of Florida at their annual Leadership Awards Dinner, and that'll be this April. Next, who's involved? Who's making all of this possible? As I've mentioned, we've piloted previous competitions in the region, and some of the parties who are involved with those efforts have created what's called the Central Florida Energy Efficiency Alliance, or CEFIA as we call. We're a group that meets monthly, occasionally with higher frequency when it's closer to our kickoff, wrap-up, and heavy outreach and engagement periods, but generally about once a month. And this group entails both members of local government, and that's not only the City of Orlando, but also our partner city, the City of Winter Park, Orange County, and even Volusia County, which is a little bit closer to the coast, as well as some of our utility providers, which this includes Orlando Utilities Commission and Duke Energy, as well as USGBC of Florida, some of the local universities, the University of Central Florida and Valencia College, industry associations such as BOMA, NAIOP, the Apartment Association of Greater Orlando, and some service providers as well. So this includes energy efficiency, interior design, solar, and engineering services, among others. Representatives from these groups not only meet at the table each month as we're conducting and managing the competition, but many of them have also provided sponsorship for the competition. And this may include financial support, and we've built sort of a tiered system for that with platinum, gold, silver, and green options, as well as in-kind services such as providing free benchmarking assistance and audits, all of which receive recognition throughout the competition on our website, on social media, and any presentations that we give across our webinar series and at in-person events such as our kickoff party. And each sponsor also has the option to present an award on their behalf during our awards banquet at the very end. The support that's provided from all of our generous sponsors also make it possible to host these in-person events and our virtual programming, as well as providing educational assistance and training throughout the competition. So that's essentially where their funds go, and they help to kind of keep things running smoothly, provide all the education that we need, and host some really high-class events to go along with the competition. So on that note, how did everyone hear about what we're doing? We share the news for their competition through a variety of partner channels, such as listservs and newsletters that are associated with some of the many members of our CEFIA group and their respective organizations like USGBC, BOMA, and some of the others as well. We also posted this information on our social media accounts and landing pages for each of our organizations. We also provided some of this content to our members to share at their own respective association meetings or to share at a lunch and learn or other kinds of educational events. In some cases, our group went out directly, and in other cases, we shared some of this content so that someone could speak on our behalf the next time that their group was going to be convening. We also met in informal settings like happy hours and other networking events, and then also received a little bit of word of mouth through internal events or even recognition, such as BOMA's own award ceremony, where they provided recognition and gift certificates for any of their members and their buildings who were actually participating in this. So this is a great opportunity to boost the recognition potential for everyone involved, knowing that this is going to be awarded not only through our organization and our efforts, but also through some of their own. Gives them I think, a little bit more of an extra boost, knowing that that's going to come internally and they have some bragging rights. And beyond this, what we have pictured here is our kickoff party, which we launched just before the competition started. And in this setting, we provided an opportunity for interested building owners or representatives from different organizations to hear about the competition. I think importantly, see who else is involved, as well as talk to some of their colleagues and peers about their experiences and plans to join. We saw a lot of people who recognized each other who didn't necessarily know that these others were participating, and we think it provided a helpful kind of context-specific nudge to get involved as well. They can ask us questions, and if they're ready to get involved, even register on site. So we hosted the event in our Orlando City Hall. Our Mayor, Buddy Dyer, provided the opening address, and I actually gave a personal invitation for everyone to get involved. And this kickoff event also provided a recognition opportunity for our sponsors and those who might be interested in sponsoring as they mingled, chatted with others. We provided a nice catering spread and 2 free drink tickets and had recognition with their names and logos all throughout the event. In total, the event was pretty well attended. We had about 130 guests and received really positive feedback about the experience, the information provided, and the majority of those who did attend did either at the event or later register. Now, with all of the excellent outreach who joined us for the competition, we're happy to report that we had over 260 buildings take part in the competition, and we had great representation across each of our major building sectors listed here, and this spanned both larger and smaller properties within those domains. So by this we mean we made estimates to determine what the median size threshold for each space type would be to ensure that we were reaching and covering as much of our building stock and building owner community as fairly and consistently as possible. After all of our outreach, we were pleased to see involvement from spaces ranging from high-rise buildings in our downtown corridor to even a small veterinary office in a rural area, and pretty much everything in between. From these participants, recognition will be provided for those who demonstrate the largest energy, water, and waste reductions over the course of the competition. Those with the highest performance overall, so if there are those who've kind of come into this with already a really efficient building, they still have an incentive to want to get involved and see that we're still giving them accolades for what they've been doing well all along. We'll have another award for innovative approaches towards savings, and then a bonus category. So in this case, we're leaving room for wonder, so to speak, and letting the data speak for itself as we may see some interesting patterns emerge. We're currently in the process of data verification and analysis, so we don't have those totals just yet, but we'll be working towards those over the next month and a half or so in preparation for our award ceremony. And with all of this information and these great successes that we expect to see, we will be encouraging our participants to share those success stories with us so that we can develop a nice portfolio of regionally relevant case studies across all of the building sectors, and hopefully provide some familiar encouragement to building owners that there are benefits of benchmarking and efficiency. They can hear it directly from their peers and hopefully join in on the future competition. And next with this, with all of the participation and interest, we need, of course, to provide resources and educational opportunities for participants or potential participants, especially those who are new to benchmarking. So one way we did this was by widely sharing the fantastic resources available from EPA that include checklists, guidance documents, video tutorials, webinar recordings, slide decks, and even their weekly Ask the Expert sessions. We received a lot of positive feedback about the resources that were available. It was pretty comprehensive with everything about all of the questions that we can think of that would be asked could be addressed in those throughout those documents and with those resources available. For those who needed a little bit more hands-on help, we took a unique approach to providing assistance and partnered with the University of Central Florida in creating an energy specialist and training program. And those pictures are the students that you see pictured there on the right are some of our graduates of this program. They received a benchmarking training program and then were certified to go out and talk to building owners and help them with their needs, whether that's data entry or the full benchmarking process. Essentially, you could request one of these energy specialists by making an appointment through the website linked directly to UCF, and then from there coordinate directly with the student and talk to them about when there is a good time, whether or not this is a building that kind of aligns with some of their interests. We try to provide information about their majors and their background to find good fits, and then go ahead and match them up, and they can provide help if the building owner is really new to this and is uncertain and they want someone just to kind of sit next to them and make sure they're on the right track, or maybe they're a little swamped and they need help with entering that information. We found this to be a really great opportunity and experience for the students and an excellent value add for the range of help that we provide for owners and managers, since we know they're coming at the competition with different levels of expertise. Finally, we also hosted a series of Energy Star 101 and 201 training courses. So the 101 training course consisted of data entry, actually bringing your utility bills, sitting down, going over the information, entering it all, breaking for a lunch, and then following up with a data validation lab type session, and then completing a building walkthrough. Since a lot of our partners offered their spaces for various trainings, we were able to host these meetings in different spaces where they could get a walkthrough and see, kind of put together the tangible effects of energy efficiency in the space that they were in and sort of connect those dots. And finally, since we know that that everyone's busy and they may not be able to come, especially across these multiple counties, to a physical location for a training, we provided a webinar series also. And across the webinars, we covered a variety of topics. This ranged from the basics of using Portfolio Manager, measuring energy, water, and waste, engaging tenants, and understanding what's next for buildings, and then also reviewing what we've done so far and what's next. What I have in italics there is sort of an EPA-related topic that we were able to cover in conjunction with each of these trainings. We, of course, refer to some of the tools that are available throughout, but these help to provide kind of a either next step or going above and beyond type of option for each of the topics that we are covering. And we also had several guest speakers from the EPA as well, for which we were really grateful and kind of helped to further describe the programs that we're discussing, talk about some of the successes, some of the benefits that you see at large, and kind of bring it back to what we're doing locally. For one of the webinars on tenant engagement, which is actually a webinar that I led, we had a few examples that we could provide on behalf of what EPA has available that are ready-made graphics that can be used within an organization. And we know that sometimes we hear that occupant engagement can be tricky and that building owners don't know exactly where to start with this. And what's great about some of these resources is that they can span the variety of different building occupants regardless of who those individuals might be. So if there is a single organization that owns a building and they're speaking to their own employees, there are options for that. There could also be options for one organization that's just one of many tenants in a building that's owned separately. There's resources available for that, or maybe even residents in a multifamily complex where the building owner wants to describe what they're doing for the complex at large and how each of the residents can take part in their own space. And coming to an end here, as I mentioned, we're currently reviewing the data to determine what some of the impacts have been for this initial competition, planning for the next round, and looking forward to creating some additional strategies for outreach and engagement throughout. Although we've seen excellent participation across all of our building sectors, we also are looking to provide a little bit of extra help for those, especially those in restaurants and hospitality, which are very popular in our area. We know that they're incredibly busy and that some of these things might be new concepts to them, so to help to bolster some of the assistance that they may need and doing a little bit more in-person outreach also. So we'll continue to host the webinars and the training programs as we've mentioned, as well as the students, but also be willing to come out and do either lunch and learn style or in-person meeting style educational sessions that we can provide more information about what the competition is, what it entails, how to get involved, and hopefully have some of those case studies I mentioned developed to let them know that their neighbors, peers, and even competitors are taking part, and it's a good chance for them to get involved also. And with that, I will turn it back. Thank you so much.